Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, fellow Earthlings. Topic today: what are you doing for your growing season? What have you done? What are you going to do? That kind of thing about growing food. Whether it's container gardening, hydroponic gardening, it doesn't matter as long as you're producing food. To me, it doesn't. There are better ways than other ways, but any way at all, when you have nothing, is better than nothing. It's something. It's a bit confusing. Make it by Mandy. Yay, good morning. I've missed your last couple of lives. Well, you're here now. Cheers. How's it going with your rebuild? How was your holiday? How was how's everything going? Are you going to be growing any food this year? You grow a little bit every year, and you've got some trees, so you do pretty good. Yeah, but is there anything different you're doing this year, or maybe less of, or I I will get going more on the AMBO soon. Oh, that's a big endeavor, that's for sure. Good luck on that. It's, it is well worth it. And, it's a mobile home. It's mobile wherever you go, and you can live in it. And that's all that counts is how comfortable you are. So it does require a bit of preparation, but it's well worth it. I see people living in some pretty good conditions with conversions from schoolies to ambulance. Ambulance pretty good. That's a pretty tough body, right? That's what you want. But yeah, it's a lot of room actually. What you're doing is you're able to bug out of the city and still make it, go traveling, whatever it is. No different this year. Mostly tomatoes, lettuce, kale, chard. Cool. Same here. And yay. Well, I'm growing watermelon on the roof because it's hot up there. And I'm growing turmeric, ginger, and lemongrass in containers out front using the radiant heat of the driveway. Going to give it a shot. Other people are doing it, so I dabbled in it, but may as well make it that's what I used. So, and yay, we have fruit trees. Yes, you do. Cherry, blueberries, apples, and pears. It doesn't get better than that, right? That's pretty good. That's right outside your door. Could you imagine what's in your hood, right? I bet there's just tons in the hood there. I used to walk around that area years ago and go for my walks. I used to live there, and I was actually that area. I traversed most of all the parks there and stuff. It was pretty good fun. Fished in some areas too. It's a lot of fun, Vancouver Island, when you have something like what you're building and it's very mobile. Yeah, I'm looking at something similar, but not a conversion, just a hot tent and a wood stove. That's good enough for me. And a cave. I hear houses are cheap up island. Yeah, there are tons of fruit trees on neighbors' yards. Yes, there is. Yep. They call this area 5 acres. Used to be all farms. Yep. Yep. There's the old fruit trees there, like the old Japanese Asian pears, the winter and summer ones throughout that area. You bump into the odd ones still here and there, and they're gigantic and they grow by themselves. And they're gigantic. Did I mention they're gigantic? Yeah. I used to walk around places and pick fruit when I was a kid. You know, well, not a kid, but a young guy. I just like going and harvesting, foraging. This is something I did. It was fun knowing where the everything was. Yeah, but I'm sifting my soil right now. If I'm just going to duck out with a few container garden and some watermelon and that kind of thing, and And I'm not going to change much from last year to this year because most things grow here. Even if I didn't plant anything, because I have really nice soil, it anything grows here. And when you're making soil, you're apt to find whatever there is in the soil that you made. And if you have good ingredients, and that's what you want in layers. You want wild foods and foraged foods in layers, and leaves and grass clippings and brush cutting. Doesn't matter. That all makes soil, and that's what I've been up to all year long. Every day I make new soil, so I get to play with some of the best soil there is for growing anything. So I'm really lucky that way that I most of the time anything I did direct sow grows really well. Like I'll direct sow pretty soon here next month. I'll be direct sowing spinach, lettuce, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, because I don't have to do anything to it. And then that stuff grows anyway here, like arugula. It'll pop up all over the place because there's seed in the soil. And other things like fava beans are flowering right now. And the fava bean leaf right at the top, those first 3 or 4 leaves, they're delicious in a salad. Hey, yeah. I will also have peas and beans. Okay. But they take much space. I like to use my garden for things we love to eat. Tomatoes are my specialty. I took workshops on growing them. I watched my grandfather as a child. He would grow beef steaks and beef eaters. He had to have everything warm and the southern exposure, and it was just a natural for me. So, there's two kinds of tomatoes. There's your indeterminate, which they'll grow up into a tree. They're a vine, and then the determinant, they're little shrubby, bushy things. So yeah, so that's about it for that. And then I just got some heritage yellow tomato seeds in a tomato from Mexico. I'm going to grow that. Hey, good morning, Wild Edibles. I didn't see you come in there. Oh, good morning. Okay, there you are, thumbing up and waving. Right back at you. My chard and kale is still growing right now. Yeah, mine too. I have turnips and radish growing right now, carrots, that kind of thing. I can go pull fresh carrots if I want to. I can go dig fresh potatoes of probably a dozen different kinds. So, and then I have a lot of sunchokes. This morning, I've got a lot of sunchokes for the mobile food bank here. They're going to come and pick it up. And I've already been on it, so I'll try to pop up a vid on it. But I had a lot of sunchokes, to say the least. And I moved some too. I put some on the boulevard to overpopulate the village. Food for them when they're hungry. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go on the major planting binge this year of trees in my locale. And if they get cut down or someone steals them, such is life, right? I'm going to try a couple of sneaky things. I'm not really a sneaky type. I like to go plant something right in front of everybody, God and everybody. Cheers. Oh, you're drinking your coffee. Good on you. It's very silky. Cup of Joe, Creekmore coffee out of Nanaimo. They're pretty good. I like them. And you don't get that tummy problem and stuff. My 2 little dogs are over there talking. They talk to each other, even talk to me. As long as I'm not talking back, I'm okay. See? You hear that? Creekmore is in Coombs. Love that coffee. Well, how far is Coombs from Nanaimo? I could probably walk there. Cheers. Well, maybe it'd take me a day or so. Maybe it traveled to Nanaimo before it went to Coombs. Huh? Just messing with you. But yeah, it's good coffee. It's very good coffee. It's there's a lot of good coffees out there. There's a lot. Yeah. So I'm sifting some soil for growing turmeric, ginger, and lemongrass in containers in my driveway. So that's what's on my agenda coming up. Yeah, 45 minutes. You're 45 minutes from there? We always go to my family have been going to, there's a market in Coombs for years and years and years. And yeah, you get some local stuff, and then you get some amazing bread. Not that I eat bread anymore because high carb, can't do her. Can't wait to see how this container project works out for you, Howie. And yes, it takes me 45 minutes to drive to Coombs from Harewood. Oh, I wouldn't know. I might be taking a wall apart and putting baffles in to prevent the ice dam better. Interesting. Well, what I'm going to do today is I have some sunchokes and going to get them out to folks up north of me, and then they like it. They know what they're doing with it. Greetings from Venezuela again. Well, let's see. I'm a podium, and I'm subscribed, and here you go, Amapodium. I can't wait to see how this. Yeah, me too. I've started a little bit of it. I've gathered up the containers. I'm not having a lot, like say 3 to 5 containers of ginger, 3 to 5 containers, probably 3 containers of turmeric, and then at least 1 container of the lemongrass because it can just keep growing back if I were to bring that inside, but not not a whole lot right away. It takes time. Hello and happy Thursday to you as well. Hi, Amma. Hi, Amma Podium. Is that what you're saying? I have ginger and turmeric to start. That's a new crop for me. Smart. It's something that you use that's highly medicinal. So, boom. And it makes food taste great. Wild Edibles is waving. So, yeah. I have onions and celery to start. Oh, both worthy to start. That's for sure. Looking after a little will bring you a lot. Looking after a lot will, chances are, bring you little, unless you have a market for anything. That's the biggest drawback with growing a lot of something is you have to have it to be go to market to get your money for it. I remember back in the day, we would grab a pickup and load it up with corn and just drive to the big box store and they'd buy it. Well, those days are over. Now it's the most you can do is just on the side of the road or have your own little market garden on your property or where you live. Sweet potato would be something to get going as well, but I don't grow that. Yeah, me neither. I've seen it here for sale lots. They grow them here in hothouses a lot too, and it's fairly reasonably priced. So I don't want to add more to where I can get it already from some people that I know grow organically. So I don't know. Growing something that you're not going to use is just that's not ergonomic. I would like to stay away from people so I won't be taking it to market. I would enjoy a roadside stand self serve. Yes, in your locale, that would be optimum. That's one of the money streams. And it actually, not just that, but you get exercise from producing and bringing the food directly to the roadside. Now, how everybody knows where your roadside stand is something you might want to think about if you're going that route. There's local fishing magazines, you know, gun club, fishing and gun club. There's local tourism, and how you mark that little stand can go a long ways. Call it your little stand or something. Because it can morph into so much more, like from your canned goods to, making your pie, bread, that kind of thing. And it just builds, it's just all these money streams. Like if you're going to do something like that, there's, it's everything's a money stream in the plant gardening food prepping world or YouTube. It's all just streamed. So I have one in water, two in dirt, still waiting for sprouts for sweet taters. Yep. They're pretty cool to see growing. I can't eat regular potatoes, and the leaves on sweet potatoes are nice and low in oxalates. Oh, I didn't know that. And learned something new. Hey there, KP. How's it going, buddy? Um, yeah, yeah, I learned something new. I like low oxalates. They're cumulative, hey? And they're cumulative, and it's it's something that people should think about, because anything that's crystal like that crystallizes, and it ain't good for you to eliminate it. It's very difficult to break that down. Yeah, yeah. Young plants, like when you go buy spinach, if it says young spinach on there, it should say that, and that's the one for avoiding that higher oxalates. If you buy older spinach, it's loaded. Yeah. What's the container project, the rooftop gardening? Yeah, that's where the watermelon's going to grow, on the rooftop. And the front of the food forest has a cement driveway. So any tropical growing I can grow there because of the radiant heat from the driveway heating up. I get an extra couple of hours at night or even longer in the summertime. Oxalates are new to me. Are they bad for you? Oh, yeah. What's the container project? Well, the container project is I'm sifting soil into a, like a container, like a large container, like a tote, like a recycle bin, whatever you got. Fill it up by 3/4, maybe more, with some sifted. I use milk crates. You've probably seen videos on it. It's making soil. And I just fill the container, and then I just plant it with organically. I'll show you here. I don't have the imported ones, because you can see this isn't very big, the same size as my finger. Now the imported one is like, it's huge. The imported one, just this piece here is the entire piece of this. And I'm just putting that into container. So every year I manage to hit the discount rack, and this is getting a little older, but I had to pay full price for this. Was And it was a little bigger because I've already had a piece off of right there. There, you can see it right there. I broke a piece off yesterday and made a ginger drink. But this is organic. The fake one that's pumped full of chemicals, you have to be careful. This is the real deal here. And you put that in your sifted, really super soil, and the little spots, like there'll be little, here it is right here. You can see it right here. This right here, see that? That'll grow out and up, and so will that. And probably here and here and here as well. And I just planned it laying it on its side like that, kind of on like this, or if you want to go like that or whatever you want, just put it in the soil. I've never grown ginger. I should try that this year. So what happens is you got to have this growing before you put it outside in a container. That's the for like, you get a month or two ahead and then use the time outside left, and then you're able to ripen it up, that ginger, and it gets bigger. Just let it die back in the container. Like just leave it there until it's all died back, then take it out, and then you're going to have some nice turmeric ginger and that kind of thing. Yeah. I have problems with kidney stones if I eat foods like spinach, beet tops. I love it, can't eat it anymore. You can't eat beet tops anymore? Young beet tops, really? I know beets are high in, like, the root itself is high in, you know, sugar too. But yeah, I have milk crates. I never thought to use them for sifting soil. It works the perfect. I have also like my drying racks for onions and stuff like that from old refrigerators. I use that on a wheelbarrow. If I'm going to mobile it right away, and I want some nice soil for going in potters or containers. It's perfect for that. Right? You're just cutting on. You want to have a look what's in the soil too, and it's done right away. It's not done and left for any amount of time. If you're doing that, you keep everything intact, and using it and making the container right away. It's advantageous to have them made up ahead of time. If something does grow in there, you obviously it's not what you want, so you just skimmy that off, pull them off, and then when you do plant the ginger, turmeric, or whatever else, you've got a nice, it's you're always going to have a weed or two because it's live, living soil, and that's just the way it is, right? You know, I've tried and tried every time. I just end up in way too much pain. Wow. Young are the only ones I eat. I never grown ginger. I should try that this year. Love ginger. Yeah, it pretty much takes care of itself. Pretty much. Yeah. It's a good one you can leave unattended for a little bit. I need to sort out those problems. Eating cheese with it is supposed to help bind the crystals. Heard of that too. There's another one too that'll bind those. I forget. There's a bunch of things. Yeah. Trying to listen to Dr. Berg. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. The rooftop garden that I'm doing this year, it'll have a lot of different watermelon because I want to grow them, and I'm just growing one large container there. It's a short container because I'd like to have them larger, like garbage cans, but it's like a half a garbage can, which I have to settle for because it's like a swimming pool. And I'm just putting that right on my rooftop. And then I'm making a drain of plants going around that. So when it does rain come down, it has the ability to go down the gutter. It's a little bit of, when you see it, you'll understand it, and then maybe that give you ideas where you are. And it protects against everything, like from bunny rabbits to deer to human beings. You know that there's people that travel around people's yards and take stuff. I've had it happen here, and I don't. I prefer people knock on the door and say they're here, because you're going to get welcomed a lot more than just already being in the backyard. Melons are cool. Yeah, yeah, very cool. Yep. Well, I'm off to work. Take care, everyone. Much love. Have a fun day, and you look forward to seeing an update on your AMBO. Tommy, has it happened to him right uptown where he is in a busy place? Oh, see you, Mandy. Huh? Yeah, they take things, people, that like food. I've seen it, and usually it's someone that's a little bit not so grounded. It is what it is, and if you're loved, chances are they'll leave you alone. If you're not loved, well, you could get raided. Thinking of going live Monday night for my birthday. Well, happy birthday for Monday night and Monday and all day. Namaste. Blessings to you on your birthday. Haven't decided yet, but I think it could be fun. Hell yeah. It would be fun. Cheers to your birthday and your live. Yeah. So, birthday, hey? Wow. I don't get one of them for a long time. Yeah. Well done. Birthday. Yay. My food forest hedge closes and hides my yard. Yeah, I have a lot of sunchokes I harvested, and I'm going to put a new row along where the deer go there. I want that all enclosed. And because the deer go in there with their little tiny little deers, little fawns, there you go. Yep. Even humans can't see in there, but a deer can get in from the side. And it's private for the deer. They eat all them sunchokes, hey, right down, and they grow back and they eat them down. And then finally, there's so much forage around, they leave that alone and it grows up. It's actually good that they're chewing on them. It just makes that much more thicker privacy. Right? I'll always have my heater there, and have some shade there too. And if it's summertime, it's nice to hear people walk by. It's really cool. Oh yeah, the deer eat the sunchokes right down to the ground. They'll eat them. Oh yeah, but the thing is, it'll grow back. Then they'll eat it again. Then it'll grow back, and then eventually, there's a lot of growth around here because the sunchoke's the first thing to grow in the spring here. I mean, I'm not where you are or anyone else. I'm just saying what happens here, and it starts growing here pretty quick, actually, really quickly. So yeah, the deer are welcomed here after SHTF. I mean, if the deer like going to your place, I mean, you're not going to be very hungry, right? Right. So I always leave a few apples and on the tree, and it falls off into the ground, and the bunnies come and eat those apples. The deer come and eat it, and then quail and robins and all kinds of weird looking birds, and they all eat on that, and squirrels eat on that, and that's a lot of different choice of protein. Yeah, well, right. Protein's protein. That's where it's at. Amino acids, if you can buy some and consume them, that's really healthy. And well, you know, amino acids are the building blocks of protein. It's the latest and greatest in the health field, and health world. Yeah, to get them delivered to your door. Boom. Yeah, they are a great soil builder, and they're great for feeding goats too. My goats love the top. Yep, rabbits do too. Yeah, chickens eat the leaves. Yep, flowers and seeds, everything. Yep, yep. There's a couple of different kinds of sunchokes, eh? There's more than that even. There's a lot of different tubers and rhizomes in the world that you never hear about. And you go up and do some research and you'll see all these different ones and stuff. Heat wave tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be 39 Fahrenheit. So I hope to go to make a video at the offsite garden. Then it'll be -5 by Monday. Nice. And I think the roots can help hold water in the soil for that area better than grass. Yeah, for sure. It keeps it moisture there. Yeah. Yeah. It'll grow right out of wood chips, sunchokes. They're amazing. Their durability is amazing. Because when you first come to sunchokes, chances are you had a bad experience with them. Oh, they too many grew. Now, I hear that all the time. And then I know what's going on when you say too many grew. You're not utilizing them. Okay. And then the big thing about sunchokes, you got to learn how to cook them, ferment them. You got to learn a lot. There's a ton to learn. So if you own them during SHTF and there's nothing on the shelf or at the farm, you know where your sunchokes are for that 2 months of that hunger gap. Right? Yeah. It's just a little insurance policy. Yeah. It's going to always be there for you. When you harvest them, you can utilize them in fermenting them, pickling them, baking them. They don't store a long time. Once it warms up, they just grow and get woody. Chop and drop, you could easily build up. So, oh, absolutely. That's what I do with mine. The leaves kind of fall off, and then you have the pole there. So I just go along and snip it and just drop that on the ground, and it just keeps making soil. Yeah. Yeah. Mice, rats, raccoons will come, and bunnies, and dig up those tubers, or those are rhizomes. Yeah, sunchokes are rhizomes. I keep thinking they're tubers. I don't know why. But maybe because of their name, Helianthus tuberosa, tuber, right? But then you do some learning about it. So it's a rhizome. It's a rhizome. Okay, well, why the hell is it a tuberosa? Tuber. It's strange. Yeah. But the first time I ever found them, I was slipping down this mound and up by this river where the wild crabapple grew along the river. And they were all growing there on this mound. And I was slipping down. So I reached out and grabbed it. And then I realized, is there any thorns on this? And then I was going further and I pulled it out of the ground. Here it is, the sunchoke. Yeah. I was impressed with finding it there. I'm like, wow. That was in the middle of nowhere. And that was like a million years ago, way before computers. Yeah, they take up water. Yeah. Yeah. They hold a lot of moisture and they aerate the soil. The aeration is because they grow different, like they grow like fingers like that. And so it pushes everything apart. So you always have that airflow. Yeah. But anything and everything will eat them. From the flower to the rhizome itself. So it's going to be interesting to have my ginger out there, whether the deer are going to eat it, and I think they would. So I'm going to have it propped up off the cement anyway on pallets, so maybe 3 or 4 pallets up, and then the little cage or something. I don't know, but I'm smarter than a deer and I'm smarter than the rabbit. I know it. Yeah. Laugh out loud. Some are more round names change. Names change. Only sometimes as we learn, making common names make more sense sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I like chop and drop. Chop and drop is number one. What I'm doing now is I'm getting those containers ready for the for lining it all up. So it's part of my regiment during the day to go and check on them. They're just starting, keep maintenance on them, keep them close, and growing them in a secluded area for a little bit on the back balcony. I'm just going to be putting them there, and some of the containers I'll have inside. Like I'll have a little area right here, and I'll have the meat birds there. I want to get them really quick, but something inside's telling me no. They only take 60 to 90 days anyway. I give them 90 days for the meat birds because that way they clean up the food for us. So that would be February, March, April. By the end of April, I can direct sow in May, and I should have harvested the meat chicken birds by then. And how many? I'm thinking on how many, and for the first 3-4 weeks, I got to look after them, the small little chickens, right, until they can come up and down and get protection here on the balcony at night. And I'll have a little cordoned off area where they'll all go and roost, kind of like just it's just a place to come at night that they're off the ground. They like that. They like it on the stairs here. So I'm going to try to work with the meat birds. I'm not going to keep them in the cage. I'm going to let them run around. I'm going to clip their wings so they don't fly away, though. So, but that's difficult too, because then now they can't fly away from the raccoon. It's the raccoon or hawk that comes and gets them, and you're going to lose 30%. So if you're counting on 25 chickens or 50 or whatever it is, add another 25. But I want them to run around and eat all the bugs on my forest floor, slugs, bugs, whatever it is. And then let them do all the scratching and tilling. They're free workers, hey? And then you get to eat them. So don't be friends with any of them. That's going to be hard. I can do it, though. I'll just treat them like some of the people I know that I don't like. Move along. But yeah. It's I'm doing that for meat for my the chickens for my freezer. They're going into the freezer. But how many do I need? 25, that's one every 2 weeks. 50, that's one every week. And if you're going to try to get 50, then you're going to have other people involved. It's as simple as that. You're going to need an arbitrage. You're going to need your neighbors. Everybody cooperate, because you're only allowed like a dozen or 6 or whatever. So if you have 4 or 5 neighbors saying, "Oh yeah, we all own them chickens," then you got to share too. So it gets into quite the endeavor, eh? So this is the organic ginger. It's not as big as the other ginger, like the chemically grown one, but this one is the one you want. You don't want that chemically grown one. There's something unnatural about that. That's not the way it's supposed to be. For real. When it says imported from that country over there, then that's where it's from. Sometimes they'll just put, "Oh, it's imported." I'm like, "Yeah, imported from where?" Like, what I got to talk to you, give you a program neurolinguistically to give you the whole spiel. And then I didn't really care for just, there's no cert number on that. That's another thing I found. There's always a cert number when you buy something organically, there's a certification number. You can check it out. Dave Knight, good morning. Garlic tomatoes. Ooh. I don't know what the other one is. Interesting. Beets, maybe? Who knows? Sunflowers. Yep. I picked up yesterday for $6, 2 pounds of locally grown garlic. I scored. I would have had 2, but this lady was ahead of me at the stand. And there they were. And I'm like, $6. I'm like, wow. So, and they were red Russians and they're fat cats. And I'm like, oh, man. So I got one. I brought it home. And then I realized at the store across the street from me, it's $24.99 for 1 pound. Yeah. Yeah. So I scored heavily. I paid $3 a pound. I'm like, yes. South Florida sunshine. Welcome, 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 Carol. There you go. And my magic wand works. It's just to restart AI. It's nothing personal. Hey, Howie. Hey, everyone. I hear that on not getting attached if I get chickens watching Diva. Yeah, I watched her video too. Very caring human being. Deal with losing her doggy and now sick Cleo. That would be hard. Meat birds, I guess I could not name. No, it's best not to unless it's like, oh, there's Tangerine or there's Ginger. Or, hey, there's Pepper. Right? You know, you just can't get wrapped up in that. Some of these creatures are here for you to consume if you want. But, you know, I'm all for having pets too. Dave Knight, good to see you. And thank you. Oh, I like having chickens all different in all stages, but that's many pens instead of one, and I need land for either now, so no quail. Quail look after themselves and pheasants. And some chickens too, and turkeys. They'll grow wild. So it's okay. Good to see you, Dave Knight. Good to see everybody. There is roasted and barbecued. Yes. Well, you know, there's the meat birds, and then there's egg-laying birds, and then there's birds you enjoy in the wild. Enjoy your former T-Rexes. Yeah. Welcome to the party, South Florida sunshine. It's hard. I followed a lone rooster hatched on the great adventure. I know, right? And Mr. Knight saying, hello, 22 Fahrenheit. Wow, Dave, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey there, Shawnee Grows, laugh out loud. Uh-huh. Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Those are my plans for, and then my fishing trips later on. But I'm not changing much in the food forest. I'm not doing anything big other than planting my boulevard neighbor's front lawn with figs, olives, and maybe a citrus or two. Maybe. Definitely a couple of kiwi out there. Everybody seems to want the kiwi. I gave away a lot, a few 100 pounds. There was a lot. You know, and then there was a lot through where the kiwi vines that I knew were growing anyway. So I'm inundated with kiwis. So I didn't want mice and rats and stuff coming, but I did want to leave a few for the birds, and I did, and I just split them so that they could come and peck at them. So, and they did, so that was cool. I love watching wild birds and also the ducks, and have gotten attached to those, just revisiting over and over. Yeah, you know, there's some special animals, meat birds and meat. I'll move my little thing. Our meat birds they always die before 2 years old. That's not a life reality. Yeah, so I give them 90 days here, and you know, you only need 60 days if you give high protein and just fatten them. But I like mine to run around and scratch and eat well. And you can go back a long time ago and see my chickens, how I fed them before. They like things sprouted, and they like kitchen scraps. and some things you got to cut smaller. And they really like, I know it sounds strange, but they really like the bugs in the food forest. That was their thing, to let them out and scratch and chew. And you use timing on it. You don't have it out there when you're going to direct sow, right? You want to get that time in, and they clear the land, they scratch everything, and anything that's growing up, they hit right away. So then you have this beautiful soil to direct sow. Now, I don't know what you do in your locale. I'm just saying what I do in my locale. And I haven't done this for a couple, 3 years now, because there was that it was the dynamic of my time in my life. So things change, and that's just the way it is. They're not healthy in old age. Yeah, that's right. You don't let them get old. But a chicken can live 20 years, though, like the layers. Oops. The dog's taking my house coat off the couch. They get up and they pull it down, and then they put it on the floor, and then they curl up. There's Howie, right? Mm. Yeah, dual purpose birds are different. The Rhode Island Reds are so friendly. I can't do that. They grow up in your hand. They'll always just come right to your hand. They're that friendly. They never cause a problem, Rhode Island Reds. The males will kill each other instantly. As soon as your back's turned, they're actually smart about it because they know you wouldn't like that. They're very, very smart. Yeah, they're very smart. Food forest hedge grows lots in my yard. Yep. Don't get me wrong, you can get attached to meat birds too. They are a living being. Think hard before getting into raising animals for meat. Exactly. That's why the chickens live out there and I live right here. And then when I'm hungry, the abattoir takes care of business. I don't see a thing, and then here it is in a package for me. Thank you very much. Whatever's out there, I'm not getting attached because I'll never eat them. Now, if someone was to pay me $50 a bird, right? Yeah. Food forest hedge grows a lot in my yard. I always think of banties. They like banties, like up in the tree, little banty chickens. They love it. They'll fly around too and populate. They're interesting. That's good way, Howie. Yeah. Whenever I do something, I do it where I'm lazy. I do lazy food growing, gardening, looking after chickens. I'm lazy about it, or quail, or whatever, pheasant. It doesn't matter. I want them to feel to be a part of the locale where I don't have to do anything except maybe provide water and a little bit of feed if I wanted to, kitchen scraps, whatever, and then just harvest them. Like mine, I'm going to feed seaweed, meat, fish, everything to my meat birds, and sprouted like lentils to sprouted peas, sprouted wheat. I don't care. I'm going to feed if you go look at my old videos there when I was producing eggs, produced pretty good eggs. There'd be like 3 eggs in one inside one, 3 eggs. So the more protein you pound to them, the bigger the bird's going to be for meat. And that's what I'm looking at. And yeah, I had to get off the snow off the greenhouse. Rough times, Mr. Knight. Be careful. I had to awesome at Wild Edibles is getting ready to sour sops. Oh, sour sops, nice. Went into full flower, had fruited in spring, all for the lazy production of food. Yeah, that's what you want. Ergonomic growing where it looks after itself. My kids and hobby take up much of my time. Yeah. So anywhere where you're in a tight spot there, like all the container growing you can do. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. High yields in container gardening with you make your own soil if you did that. Buying soil doesn't really do it unless you know how to do amendments and bone meal and blood meal and stuff like that. And then when you plant a tomato in there, throw a herring or a or a mackerel underneath it. But container growing is going to be a bigger thing because people that are in tight living conditions, like in skyscrapers, towers, condos, and if there's no food, then they're all going to be growing container gardening. I can guarantee that because it's very limited space. Yeah, I'm just sifting my soil using a milk crate and my rack out of the refrigerator or freezer. You get those racks where you put food in and they have nice little gaps. I just throw a bunch of soil in there and shake it back and forth. There's lots of people helping. Then you got to improvise. I've got about 5 milk crates. They make really nice, they bust up the soil, make the potter and put it away right away. And you have that in your potter, like it's like a soil bank of potters that you have to think like that. And each potter, if you've got something growing in it, it's worth money. If you have to get money somehow, that would be the way to do it. If you're money streaming really helps. That's good. That's why we grow food forests too. I have a bad back. The less I have to plant, the better. Exactly. Takes care of itself. And that's why I'm doing the container growing. And I'm actually doing the watermelon growing on the roof because it should technically take care of itself. I shouldn't have to do a lot. I'm only putting three types of watermelon in a giant swimming pool right there. Boom. And then some of the outside I'll grow in probably like start some rosemary or something like that and grow the rosemary, or I might even buy little shoots already growing. People have a fancy with rosemary because it makes you smarter or something or whatever. So people really like to buy rosemary plant. Who would have thought? Or kiwi. People seem to want that. So if you're doing money streaming, then that's an idea. And if you just want some health, that's an idea, is container gardening. I'm trying to set up for both using one empty bed to build soil at the moment. We might also have to bring our containers inside and all the weird stuff in the sky. Well, you're right. I was what you can do about anything. That's what counts. And there's not too much we can do about that. But if you're going to cover it with a tarp, you see them, or a lot of times they give notices that they're spraying for the gypsy moth or this or that, and you can look it up and you can cover your food garden that way temporarily, just so till that's over with. You're minimizing. If there's nothing you can do about it, it's hard to get wrapped up into something you can't do anything about. The first time in 2 years I've had to clear snow with the tractor. Oh, yeah. Swearing on my channel, huh? No, just kidding. Snow, clear. Ooh, those are 4-letter words. Snow. We haven't had any. We haven't had any winter to speak of. We had a few storms like atmospheric downpour and a cyclone bomb, but yep, more hours on the tractor is fun. Yeah, I know, right? It's like a Tonka toy. Dave, yeah, I seen him turn it as compost day, and I was like, "You're lucky, father of invention." Yeah, necessity. You didn't want to do that. turning that. I don't have that issue because I don't turn mine. I just make it and then use it. But what you do is just as comparable, and the soil that you make is pretty darn good. So kudos to Dave Knight, doing less and getting more. Wild edibles don't get much here. I'm not even going to be shoveling. Good. Yes, I want to get a bolt of tool for this year. I have no idea. Excuse me. And some hula hoops. Hoop houses are very worth it. They're very much so, and it is to be done now. Like where I am, it's needed. I'm thinking on a couple things I have to go and do. Do I clean up the old smoker, throw it away, and just buy a new one? Because you don't use it for a year or so, and kind of looks gross. I say new one, but I'll look at it. But goes onto the metal recycling guys. They'll be smelling smoke fish for the remainder of that smoker. Extra fine but breathable tool is the bridal veil netting. Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, I want to get, yes. I don't use that so much here, any netting, because I'd be catching a lot of birds, and that I'm not into that. But what I do is I feed the birds at a different part of the property. So they go there. So if there are a lot of birds show up, I know they always go there, and I can keep an eye on it, make sure that if they have their feed, they'll leave alone your stuff. All right. You're smarter than the birds. At least I am. We have bugs galore. I've never had a bird caught, thank God. Yeah, bugs, eh? So that's what it's for. I understand now. Again, it's mosquitoes can be a problem. Other bugs too can be a problem. I mean, an anaconda could show up in Florida, and that'd be a problem if it's just the moths are really bad. Yeah, any light you'd be attracting moths too. Yeah. It's a great biodiversity, Florida. Right? Green anaconda. You don't know. I fed birds other side of the year too. Okay. I feed my birds every day, twice a day, 3 times a day. They get used to being out front, and they all show up there. Birds of prey, predators show up there and eat them, like Cooper's hawks and lots, kestrels, whatever. You kind of want to just run out and just say, hey, buddy, get the F out of here. Because here's your favorite little Junco laying there in his claw, and it's like, you son of a bitch. I feed birds the other side of the yard too. Yeah, that's what you do. Same thing with if you got raccoons coming there, you're smarter than them. Feed them over there some cat food, a bowl of water, and they'll always go over there. They'll leave alone your stuff. But if you go along making it, there's no balance there, like owls. Owls are your best friend, hey? They take them out, any mice or vermin. One owl has a family, 1,000 vermin a year. That's a pretty skillful hunter, I'd say. That's a badass, man. I was proud of them. I was like, good on you. Carolus, South Florida Sunshine, says hubby does not allow light on around the house at night due to the termites here. Exactly. They come from the suburban light pollution. I have spiders all over. Grateful to see them. Yeah, termites like a nice little dry mound of really fine, elongated sawdust, like the stuff that they chew off. Put it in a garbage can, make an air gap, and they all go in there, a little hole there. And they all go in there and bring their little colony of friends in there. Same with ants, those termite ants, they'll do that too. You can put that onto the termite mound and spray with water, and they'll all go up there right away. Those guys are really smart. Get out of the water, right? They love our house here. Yeah, I bet they do. Sticky traps are your best friend, hey? I know it's a little cruel, but you know what? I want to sleep at night. I want something going bzzz. It lands over there because there's sweet water beside it and it has a bunch of Amanita muscaria in it. And the little fly goes, I'm not going to stay awake at night. I will defend against flies, and I'm smarter than mosquitoes. Sticky traps, those little electric cookers, they just zaps them. There's a bunch of ways. There's also sonic. There's ways, and then the screen is really nice. You can screen up. That's really awesome. Bug netting, gloves, there's ways to slow down the it's kind of like you think it's a detriment because they bring disease, right? And they do. They do, like bot fly, right? You ever see one of those underneath the skin? That ain't pretty. Ugh. Oh, be careful when you travel. It's good to smell like garlic, hey, and mint. It's great to smell like mint. All the bad guys can smell you. They don't want anything to do with you. Bears will smell you sooner. Rats, mice. Nobody wants anything to do with that has to use their sniffer for finding food because it just messes with it. So, but again, mosquitoes don't like that either. Like ticks, they don't like mint smelling oil. Once you got a tick, then you got problems. And the evade problems, like in Florida, is pretty tough to evade. Shit, you could have an alligator in your backyard in a half-second flat. It's adventurous there. I'm sure of it because I've seen the swamp people. Them to like going outside for mice and to use the bathroom. Yeah, the kitty cats. Yep. Skittle stays inside cannot protect herself. Oh, I can't do bird feeders. Rats come in, then snakes here. I miss feeding the birds. Good point. I wear lemon, eucalyptus, and peppermint for the mosquitoes. Smart. Very smart. Hi, Adrian. I would love an indoor-outdoor cat, but too close to the street here. True. Especially if we got a lot of traffic on it. Kitty cat ain't gonna last too long. But you're doing the right thing. You got your screen. What can you do? The big thing that I find with mosquitoes is they don't like a bit of air. They have to fly, eh? They don't like it. Just have that air going beside you. And they just blow by, right? If you want to sit there and read a book, or they don't like air current. Moose, I've seen moose go right out and go underneath the swamp water to get rid of them. There's millions of them on the poor thing. Millions. And I've seen moose with ticks covered in it. It's like, run, because that thing is dead. Where do you think those ticks are going to go? On you. Yeah. I'm no knacker, man. Like, I don't study dead things, but if it's full of ticks and it's dead, you're not going to walk over and, oh, look at that. As soon as you see that, you're going to run. We have had a gator at the HOA next to us, but not in our canal. Otters scared the out of me one day, though. Yeah. They have little tiny otters with them. That's cool. They have the whole troop or whatever it's called. They're cool. They take out a lot of those invasive fish, those snakehead fish and stuff. Otters good for that. They should be encouraged. They take care of that. Unfortunately, they take care of any native species too. But if there's going to be different problems, especially in Florida. I mean, look at the goldfish problem, right? So, but anything that walks, crawls, or squawks is protein when there isn't anything at the store. And that's part of the reason why I grow food every year. And I don't grow a super pile of anything. I grow a few and just look after it. And that's your best bet, because there's other things that are going to come up. Unless you've got an endeavor planned and you have access to the land and you have access to a market, then grow what you're going to sell and sell what you grow. Yeah. River otters can get like 3 foot long. Oh, yeah. I love them from a distance. Oh, we are almost the Australia of America. You are. So many native, non-native species introduced here. Yeah, well, it's easy to live there. It's warm, right? And you're lucky to be there. You know, you're living in an area where grows a lot of food, and so anything happens, you have the ocean right there, you have the land right there. A lot of people are not in that good position. Some people are in a position there's no water. Well, what's the problem then? Well, it's going to get a little hot above ground. When that happens, just remember it's cooler underground. Words to live by, for sure. It's a simple fact that man's first home was a cave. So if you were to go back to a cave, it would be a very simple life, Stone Age, right? So, but it's entirely defensible as a cave, underground room, cavern, that kind of thing, cob house. It's when you build these wooden structures and there's no rain and water, and for some reason there's other issues with water too. Not just when it rains, there's reservoirs that don't fill up or whatever the case may be. And you can see some real damage being done if there's no water. If there's no water, there's no life. And the first spark, going to have some real sparky problems. The town of Hinton or Lytton. Yeah, it was Lytton. And there was a few thousand people that lived there on the BC mainland. The train came through and there was no rain for a long time. It was dry in the yards, the railway yards. And they think it was sparked that way, But the lack of water is a real serious issue. It's something to be taken seriously when you're going to grow food. Is it always going to be there, that water for you? Have you stored enough in a cistern? I see people on there spreading the love, like Uncle Al saying, yeah, I get 50 jugs of 1 gallons of water, everybody. Well, he ain't saying that because, don't. He's saying that because he loves you and he's giving you a little intel. Right, grateful we are not in California. Yeah. Grateful Canada is helping them. Yeah. I want a cave home, but with amenities and multiple hidden exits. Smart. You're very smart. The first thing you learn when you go to the military, you're digging a foxhole into that bunker. That's what it is, a cave. That's the first thing you learn for defense, survival. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Those little houses that go up like a matchstick? Hell, I wouldn't be in that. Hell no. I'd be deep underground. Let them burn up. Let them burn up. I mean, it's terrible that happened. Did you see those pilots? Those water tech, they come right in and they're spot on with fighting that fire. All those pilots that are fighting the fire, like, they're pretty badass people. They're, you're looking for a hero. There you go. They put their butt on the line, and I was impressed with their flying skills. We're real cowboys. I'm usually able to plant in the ground end of April, but I feel like we will get a heavy snowfall in May, which makes me want to hold off. Well, pay attention to your local meteorologist and your local, farmer. You watch them. You can pretty much grow whatever they're growing. Yeah. And anything that grows in your locale, you can pretty much grow that. And direct sow is a chancy game. You're right. You don't know. That's why you do successive crop planting. If you've got lots of land, just start sowing crop after crop. You're going to get something every 7 to 10 days. Hit it again with more radish. Hit it again with more lettuce, more dill. Hit it again. Hit it again. And if you've got a market for such things, garlic seems to be the end market now, and it has been holding that way for a long time. And pet food, making pet food, something to think about. You're staying warmer in the fall. Ground crew too serious. Cowboys fighting brush fires. I agree. The crews above and below. Yeah, them guys on the ground, man, they look pretty tough. And they're out there scrapping. A dangerous game, fighting fire like that, running through a city. Holy schmolians, man! I couldn't believe it. But I was a little surprised. But then I thought about it. I've seen this before, where stuff is too dry, and I'm like, take some bonehead with a cigarette and high wind. Hey, Grant McIntosh, good morning. Shawnee is definitely a good grower. Yep. She has prior knowledge to build on. Yep. Did I miss anything? I'm able to, yeah, we always keep water on hand in Florida. Yeah. Hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water you should keep on hand. Yeah. Every single person. The thing about water is it can go stale and can, have a little stagnant, but it can be boiled. All water can be boiled. And then all water that's salt in it can be desalinated with just some tin foil and a few pots and pans. You can be pumping out fresh water from the salt. It's not rocket science. It is time consuming and energy consuming, but it can be done. We're not running out of water. What's happening is there's some disturbing weather patterns that have happened here, like atmospheric downpours where it just rains phenomenally and doesn't stop. And the first time it happened, they lost a bunch of highway bridges here and on some major routes too. It's a few years ago. But now they've reinforced those for the next one. All the ones that didn't come down, they've reinforced. They've changed. Engineering's changed. So the big thing for anybody growing their own food that I could tell them is that you have to have water, and the rest is in your locale. Soil making's right there. Getting through that hunger gap, if there's nothing at the store, something to think about. I'm going to get some more coffee. Hey, cheers, oops. You're running. Well, take it easy. We have filters. Oh, yeah, roads washing out. Yeah, that's a problem. Major highways washed out here on the mainland. Yeah, lots of them too. And, that lasted a while too, because it takes a long time to build highway and put bridges in. It doesn't happen overnight. We have the boxed water, still want to set up the rain catchment with filters, but barely I have time to get outside with M and his special needs. Yep. I can't take my eyes off him outside. Absolutely not. Coffee time. Yes. Coffee. I don't have too much to do except give out sunchokes to, and a few other things too. I'm giving to the mobile food bank. They're going through to north of me. So I try to load them up with whatever I got. Today it'll be a massive amount of sunchokes, but them guys like it. They know how to use them. So, and they ask for stuff like that. The old people. Oops, stay safe out there. Not for fitness, for farm, never ending. It's a lifestyle, something you love to do. There's nothing better. I watched a show on a family in Greenland, and their daughter, she's like 12 or something, or 13, and she was asked, do you like going back to France? And she's like, no, I like being here. And she goes to catches trout, and she has, living the farm life in Greenland. So, they got a bunch of sheep. They have all the lamb. They have all the food from the ocean. They eat whale. They eat a lot of Arctic char and salmon. They just walk down to the river when it's that time of year, and then that's available. But you see, they go with the season. They pick wild thyme. They eat raw sashimi of Atlantic salmon, caught wild, and then they eat Arctic char. And all they do is they put a little squeeze of lemon juice and some chives onto it. Leave it for a little bit, kind of like ceviche, and they eat it. And they eat seal meat. They'll go to the store and buy seal meat. Yeah. And they buy caribou. Yeah. Or they go and hunt it. You see, depending on where they are. If they're outside of like any population center, then they're doing all that anyway without purchasing. Butter. Not for fun, not for fitness, for farm, never ending. Butter's good. I like goat butter. That's my favorite. Tastes very good. Blessed that you have the land here in South Florida. The land prices went up way too much along with taxes and insurance. Yep. I suggest if you're going to buy land, buy it off grid. And if there's no electricity, that's your best bet. No septic, that's your best bet. Because then it's all raw state. But you generally, if you buy off grid here like that, you got to spend like $2 million, and then you'll get like several hundred acres. Do you want several hundred acres? No. A few goats in a cave and a fishing spot's good enough with me, man. Great if your kids come visit you and the grandkids and stuff, but I don't know. I like to watch the seagulls fly by, bald eagles going salmon fishing. I like that. That to me that's living it. A few goats. So I'm going to have some changes in the future, especially over this next 3-year period. It's going to be interesting. The thing about living outside in Canada, you must have a dwelling of some sort. Now, how you set up your dwelling of some sort is, your comfortability level. You can buy houses that pump up into a house. You have a living room, you have a couch, you have everything. This is how serious the living outside for glamping is. And it's just a pump that blows up the house into like a house. It's really weird. Butter. Okay, butter. My husband is not on board for the ground zero build, and my body can't do it either. Yes, a cave would be great. Well, where you are, it's a little tough to dig a cave because there's so much water, right? It's very tough. Yeah. You have to have a sealed bunker put in because of the water. Water's just going to get you. So the cave, was man's first home. Why? Because it offered protection against the saber-toothed tiger, hordes of Mongols, or whatever. The tents you fill up with air are strange. I know they're heavy too. There's other tents too. You don't have to have that kind. You can go with a lot lighter ones. And a small wood stove is ideal. And a way to have endless wood is what you're looking at. Gas can happen for a while, but the wood stove, and be careful of carbon monoxide too. Make sure, because that's heavy, hey, and comes down and sits down below. So make sure you've got a vent down below, not just up high, right? Pokes. Okay, butter pokes. You're poking the bear there. Right, right, not in the right state for hiding below the earth's surface. I will drown here. Yeah, absolutely there, Carol. Oops, laugh out loud. Pokes. Yeah, okay, pokey. But yeah, that's part of that's a long distance plan, is to have a home away from home if yours don't exist anymore, like those poor devils there in California there. Man, they lost everything, right? Everything they ever had. And that can happen to anyone. Yep. You get a 9 earthquake anywhere along the coast under these major cities, you're going to have some pretty serious damage. You're going to have some very detrimental damage. So the guy or lady, and you're in your 80s or 90s or 50s or whatever it is, or 40s, you can't dig a cave, hogwash and ads. Get yourself one of those ads with a hook like that. That's a start, just to build something underneath the overhang. You know, protection until you're able to go and dig that cave. When you got solid rock, you need like something to drill into the rock to give you your cave. But I wouldn't expend myself on that. I would definitely just go and find an area where I'm able to dig into the side of the hill. You just got to look around. But if you have to drill into rock, go for it. It's not the end of the world. And the thing is, if you heat rock up and then throw water on it, it'll shatter. Eh? And if you want to build the fire and throw some more water on it and it shatters and weakens it, there you go. Right? Just heat the rock up and cool it off with water. Emergency situation here. Right? If you got to have a fire on the snow, put some logs down first, some birch burns green. You know, it's where you find yourself. Fire is your best friend or your worst enemy. Right now in California, those poor people, man, they got nothing anymore. They don't even got a blanket. They don't got food. But the bravest are those firefighters and those pilots and those planes. They're hardcore, man. Some of those fancy flying, I've seen those. Seen some pretty good flying. You know, them are the guys you want. Them are the hot shot. Okay? Yeah, they know what they're doing. They've done this before, and some of their flying I was very impressed with. Very impressed. Yeah, and the firemen too. They were all standing around. Yeah, they try their best too. But if there's no water, there's no water. Yeah, unfortunately, apparently, and through the false news or true news, there's no insurance either. It's like, you don't know. Like, must be true if someone said so, right? It's, I'm sure they need a lot of help. FEMA just gives you a little tiny bit, like $700 or something. I'll go buy you groceries, but you're going to need to start over again. It'll be years. That's like $600 billion worth of damage. I mean, that's a lot of damage. I'm just quoting 600 billion. It could be 549 billion. I wouldn't know, but it's pretty darn close to it from what some people are talking. So I'm just repeating. That can happen anywhere. You get a year drought. One time I thought it was going to happen here. Um, for 120 days, no rain. I'm like, oh God. If you see anybody out there just smoking and throwing their butt, you chew them out and call the fire department or the bylaw officer or something. Somebody should pay attention to that bonehead. Drought gets dusty. Yeah, FEMA gives loans. That sucks. You think they'd be given to the free to the victims of the California fire? I mean, they give free money to all these other countries around the world. Just take care of your own first. And yeah, I don't like that. Give loans. Hell, you lost everything. Pfft, you're right. Bunch of fat cats. That's who gets the money in this world. Rant. But if you're finding yourself facing imminent danger, your best bet is to dig a bloody foxhole that goes into your bloody cave. Lots of protection in there. Fire outside, well, it's outside. Whatever's consumable material outside, then it's over. Then you go out. Oh, okay. Is there something I'm missing here? I mean, making a door and putting mud on it, and then you're down your little foxhole and down into your underground room. Well, there's only so much can burn out there, and then it's got to stop, right? So, yeah, I'll take underground cave any day. I mean, you don't have to have one at your house. You can just know where there is one, right? Or you can dig one away from your house where no one's looking. It's your cave. People want to go and climb down the sewer pipe because there's a fire up top. Do it. Underground, there's a lot of underground trolleys and railways in New York to Chicago. There's underground, right? It's cooler underground when it's too hot above ground. So you don't necessarily have a cave. You can have access to a mine, the trolley system, the subway, that kind of thing. It offers protection. You only got to worry about when you have your own cave is one way in. Wolves come in, bad guy, marauders, Alibaba, whatever. You're in your cave. You only got to worry about what's right there. I mean, you got 50 foot of gravel that way and 100 that way and 2 miles down below you. Right? I mean, caves, when you go look at cave art and you see like where Neanderthals put their hand on there and painted their horses and their buffalo. That's why they were there. There's bad things out there. Hordes of people that would eat you. I ain't kidding either. That's the funny part. Yeah. Surviving is okay, but thriving is much better. So to thrive, you need a few goats, a few chickens, some seeds, access to water, a cave or a permanent dwelling beside your cave or the caves in your locale. There's many options. And if you live like where Carol is down in the deep depths of Florida, you got water. So, well, isn't that a good thing? Everything's not going to burn, right? Got a lot of bugs. Okay, deal with them. But, the rest of this country just experienced the California fires. And there's a lot of fake news being given out. And then there's a lot of real news. And the real news is a lot of people got hurt and they're dead. And the real news is the place burnt down. You get wrapped up into all these conspiracies and this and that. That's all fine if you want to, think like that and be critical and have a discussion about any concern. But in the long run, what can you do about it? Just don't get wrapped up in it. Remember, the first thing you learn in the military, dig your foxhole. Other than that, keep calm and carry on. They used to give grants or rebates. Ugh. We got our gas generator into the flood we had here. FEMA wouldn't let you keep your home even if no water got in. Wow, that's strange. Oops. Wow, that's something. From my dad's days in the army, you always want at least 2 exits or 3 because they can burn you to death with 1 exit. Yeah, your dad was a smart man. Hawaii had fires. We are not immune. We have droughts here too. Stock up on lots of water. Good morning, growing on Vancouver Island. The sun is shining. Yep. That's pretty cool. It's nice and warm here. 6 Celsius, sun shining. A little cloudy over there. We're just having general chit chat of what we're doing right now for the upcoming growing season and what we do for thriving and surviving. If you just want to survive, it's pretty easy to survive. I mean, if you're outside, you get the tarp or shower curtain, put a little slit in it, bring it down, make your poncho, and get a soup can. That's surviving. Now, thriving to me is, a place to go and lay down and relax. Sandra Volmar. Well, Sandra Volmar, let's see who Sandra Volmar is. What do we have? And there's no channel. You've been around a long time, Sandra Volmar. Welcome to the village here on YouTube. We just having a conversation of what you're doing right now, about what you're growing in the upcoming season, and general talk like that. What would be a good plan in your locale for making soil or planting the new trees or whatever it is, like what's already grown in your locale would be optimum to replicate because it's already growing there, right? Good morning, growing on Vancouver Island. Yeah, haven't seen you for a long time. Hope you're doing good on that new piece of land, and you most likely have been a voracious planter on that land because you have the energy to do it. Yeah. And I don't know if you put out any videos lately. I'll have to go by and check. YouTube's not dependable on notifications. I'm sure you all learned that. But South Florida sunshine. Oops, where in North Carolina? That's a nice place. Good morning. Okay, South Florida sunshine. I am so sorry. They used to be better, but not good at their jobs. That is so awful. Oops. Yeah. Well, when you're flooded out, you need help, not being set aside, and you can't even go home. That's strange. I found that strange when Oops said that. Wouldn't let you keep your home even if no water got in. Is there something else there that we don't know about? Like, is there radiation spillage? Are you really knowing everything? You don't know. Is there a chemical spill? Like the flood, when it floods, anything can happen, hey? A lot of variables, the dynamics in an environment can change from in a half second flat to something you don't know about. You don't know. But if they did that, I would ask for a reason being. Why did they feel that it was necessary to do that? Accountability is everything, right? And growing on Vancouver Island has a message. Good morning, sunshine. Oops, kept property but insisted on dozer homes. Wow. South Florida sunshine, right? Like the rumors of certain things in North Carolina and soil that I got to move the corporation squad. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff. You never know the real reason, maybe 20 years later, right? I've been sick. Whoa. Growing in Vancouver Island, I've been sick. Just getting over it now. Wow. There was a lot of people here that had to go to the hospital. They were sick. There was lots that just was inundated with sick people. They were closing down their home. They didn't want visitors, like people I know that grow food. And people from overseas came and they were sick. So I avoided them. I have new raised beds. Yay. in my garden, but need to transplant my fig trees too close to my raised beds. The fun of garden makeovers, exactly. Also need to collect more seaweed for my raised bed. Smart. Smart. I do that every year. Yeah, I collect leaves, coffee grounds, seaweed, whatever I can. As soon as I'm collecting seaweed, I remember, oh, go get some coffee grounds. And I run out of leaf here. There was a machine that come and took what was on my street that I had gathered up in a little pile. Come on, I just sucked it up. I'm like, really? I was coming back for that? Yeah, seaweed, just put a little bit in, a couple of buckets, chop it up small, spread it around. I'll make videos soon. I almost completely lost my voice. It's getting better now. That's harsh. Well, I hope you feel better there growing on Vancouver Island. The big thing is contamination, especially in the type of work you do. You see a lot of public, so I'd wear my mask. Careful never hurt anybody. And I think you have to wear a mask if you go to the hospital here now. They've upped the ante on that. At least here in Victoria, you go to the hospital, you don't have a mask, you're going to have some people come and say, get the hell out or put this on. What do you want to do? Well, you're going to put it on. I use duckweed here for mulch and betterment of soil. Smart. Oops. With the seaweed, are you rinsing it? Here we have had chemical spills that they had helped clean up. Yeah, that hasn't happened here. And I don't really, after a good rain, I just go and pick up my seaweed. And they stopped putting sewage in the ocean here a few years ago. So it's cleaned up a lot. That was the only big thing that was going out untreated. I don't rinse seaweed at this time of the year. No, neither do I. No, I just put it right onto the garden. It's gone in a couple months. There's nothing there. It's just soil. Yeah. I noticed in the back too, they've cut down some of the one of the trees and they lifted up some other ones so that I have more light in here. I'm just barely able to get by with the light that I have. But on the rooftop garden, it's going to be nice. I'm going to grow watermelon there and something that loves to grow in the dry, hot roof. I don't rinse either. But on a more serious note, it's nice to see you all here again. Fantastic to see everybody. And I must say, have a great day and get up and grow. I've got the mobile food bank coming for the sunchoke, so I have about an hour or so to get that ready and put it out on the front. So much love, mad respect, and hashtag Pathway Soil Bank. Make your own soil in your locale. Even if you're making soil in a garbage can, just do it. You have a blessed day. And it was nice seeing everyone and see you all around. Or is that seed you all around? You got to remember CR. So funny guy. See you, Shawnee Grows. Hashtag Pathway Soil Bank. Yep. That'll bring into a ton of videos that I put that hashtag on. Sandra Volmar, good day to you as well. Welcome to the village. Kind of forgot you there for a half second flat until you reminded me. Thank you kindly. Peace and love. End stream now.